Hello everybody, I'm Jackie K. Cooper, and my entertainment rundown for today is two more movies that you can watch, through video on demand or streaming services, whatever you have, to watch movies that are being released straight to the internet services. And that's because the movie theaters are closed. Hopefully soon they'll be open and we'll be going back and safely be able to eat our popcorn and drink our soda and enjoy a huge movie on the big screen. I'm counting on it. And there have been a lot of movies backing up, ready to be released. So once the floodgates are open, I don't know how they're going to space them out, but there are a lot of big movies that were coming out this summer that, are going to be ready at the gate to go. But while you're sitting at home waiting for them, one of the movies that's being offered to you is a movie called Mr. Jones. And I looked at this movie and I thought that might be interesting to see because it stars Peter Sarsgaard, who is a good character actor. I've seen him in a lot of things, and Vanessa Kirby. And she was in the last Mission Impossible film. No, it's the last Fast and Furious film, I think it was. And she also played Princess Margaret on the TV series The Crown. So I thought, hey, if they're in there, it must be good. Also stars James Norton. And James Norton plays Mr. Jones, who works for the British government. This is in the period immediately preceding World War II. And Hitler is rising to power, and Mr. Jones, is also a journalist. He's from Wales, and he happens to speak Russian. And he is, trying to find the story behind how Russia is claiming to be, doing so well and prosperous when there are rumors that there's famine sweeping the country and whatever. And Russia does not want that fact to get out. Now, I hate to say it, but I was a history major in college, but I don't remember this aspect of the Russian famine having such an impact in world relations prior to World War II. But Mr. Jones, like I said, played by James Norton, arranges to go to Russia, and he wants to meet with Stalin, get an interview with Stalin, but eventually ends up going to the Ukraine. And it's what he sees about what's really going on behind the scenes, the word that the Russian government is not giving out. But all of that is well and good. It's informative, historically, might have some impact. But the movie itself does nothing to sell its plot. Vanessa Kirby has a very, very minor role in the film, as does Peter Sarsgaard. So they're just there almost for name value, but aren't that pertinent to the plot. Peter Sarsgaard, more importantly, than Vanessa Kirby. But all falls on the shoulders of James Norton, who plays this mysterious Mr. Jones, who just seems to have a compulsion to find out this story, no matter what the personal cost to him, financially, physically, or whatever. And the scenes of him going through Russia and seeing the poverty that is there is just brutally, hard to watch. So it's got some good acting in it. It may be historically, important in some aspect, but it just didn't sell the movie to me like it should. The film is not rated, but would fall in the PG-13 category for profanity and violence. Like I said, the scenes in the Ukraine are really brutal to watch. I could only give it a score of 5 out of 10. It's average. A film, that has this kind of background with these actors should have been presented in a more, engrossing manner. Don't just throw it out there and have somebody trudge through it just because you're trying to glimmer some historical story out of it. So reach down there and, hit the subscribe button. We'll remind you of that again at the end of the show. But if, these are the kind of movies that we're going to be telling you about until the, movie theaters are open again. This one gets a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. Just average, nothing above average. That is Mr. Jones. And then that leads us into a film called 1,000 Miles Behind. This one also is not rated. It would fall in the PG-13 category for profanity and some violence, mild violence. But it's about a man. At the very start of the movie, he's married. He's got a daughter who's maybe 11 or 12 years old. His wife comes in. He's still in bed. She says, "I'm taking our daughter to school," and kisses him goodbye, and they leave. And then the next scene that is him reeling from the fact that he's been told that his wife and daughter were killed in a car wreck. And it just throws him into depression. And the first two-thirds of the movie is just about his misery, about his grief. The man is played by an actor named Brie Blair, who has the fundamental skills to convey the sadness that this man feels. But he's not one of those actors who just draws your attention, and makes you empathize with him. And there are so many shots of him just sitting and being somber, or moving outside and sitting. He goes outside and starts sleeping outside. And there's scene after scene of him waking up and, horror with the realization of what has gone on in his life. And like I said, finally, maybe halfway or a little bit further through, he has a motorcycle and he gets on his motorcycle and just takes off. Now, what this man does for a living, I don't know, because he never seems to worry about, having money to do this, that, or the other. But he takes off on like a road trip. He meets up with a woman who is just friendly and, strikes up a conversation with him. She's a bright spot in the film. She's played by Vanessa Kirby, and she makes, her few scenes with Brie Blair are the best scenes in the movie. And then at the end, there's a cameo by Greg Evigan, and I know most of you don't even know who he is, but way back in the day, he made a series called BJ and the Bear. That's all I remember about Greg Evigan. I'm sure he had other credits, but he appears in this movie in a cameo, so you get to see him. But this is the type of movie that thinks that, it's just great to show him on his motorbike, riding and riding and riding. Not saying no dialogue, no interaction. It's just those scenes to show that he is on this journey to recovery, or hopefully to recovery. And it just stretches out, on and on and on. And there's, like I said, it would probably be rated around PG-13 for profanity and violence, but there's not enough dialogue or not enough action or not enough, anything to charge the movie up. You just get long stretches going and going and going. For that reason, I scored it 4 out of 10. Come on, give me something. Give me something to hang on. Introspection only lasts so long, especially when you're watching it in somebody else. So as I said earlier, reach down there, hit the subscribe button. We'd love to have you come on board as a subscriber. But for today, this has been Jackie K. Cooper's Entertainment Rundown with reviews of 2 movies that you can watch while in quarantine.